always on your side. This is First Coast News at 5.
At First at 5 tonight, we are covering several breaking news stories for you right now. There is a large police presence at the Sandalwood area as we come on the air. This is being described as a tactical situation in a residential area. This is on Calvary Boulevard. It's just west of Kernan. We're waiting on details from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, but we do have a crew heading to the scene, and just as soon as we get information, we'll let you know.
Also breaking tonight, a traffic alert involving the Main Street Bridge in downtown Jacksonville. It is shut down until further notice because of a malfunction. And this is a live look right now of that bridge. Please use the Acosta or the Hart Bridge as a detour.
We're also following multiple other developing stories right now. It's a busy night tonight. We have learned a roller coaster in Daytona Beach that derailed last night had failed inspections before the accident. And we are hearing the 911 calls and the latest on the investigation this evening.
Plus, a Southside apartment complex evacuated what police found at the Sola South Apartments off Gay Parkway that prompted that evacuation.
And 2 cooling towers ready for implosion. More details on the concrete towers where you can watch the implosion live tomorrow morning in Jacksonville.
But first tonight, we are indeed tracking, more showers and storms as they move through our area. On the left, you are looking at live radar as these storms move through, and on the right,
you can see the rain pouring down in Jacksonville right now. Just a short time ago, it was pounding our roof. Still not beautiful out. It's Friday night. People want to get out and about. So
and we have a variety of activity going. Some of us have been hit by the storms. For some of us, the storms are still forming. And in other areas, they're still heading your way. So let's break it down for you. Lots to cover. Here's the big picture of all of the First Coast. Like we've seen over the last couple of days, a couple events going on. First of all, scattered thunder showers developed along the Gulf Coast sea breeze heading east. Some of those are still out there, just widely scattered. But in some areas, especially in Duval, they have collided with the East Coast sea breeze that was headed west. And that's what the ladies were talking about. We've had a major storm in the urban area of Duval. And then this is another shot of energy that's been out around the Suwannee and the Okefenokee, and this will continue working eastward as well. So what's it going to be like where you are? It all depends. Let's zoom on in, first of all, to the strongest line. Now, this is the area of showers and thunderstorms that were just widely scattered, hit the sea breeze, and then within about 30 minutes became an intense storm. At the present time, like we've seen over the last couple of days, technically, we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. But remember, that's just an official terminology having to do with potential wind damage and hail damage. These storms are intense with rain, still some gusty winds, and lightning strikes as well. Motion with these storms that has organized now, see, it's in a solid line. That is certainly from the west to the east. So what we're going to do here is zoom on into where the strongest portions of the storm is. So here's Duval. Again, right along I-95, Highway 17, Highway 13, that's where the collision occurred. And now the storms have, we call them mature, and they're being steered by what the winds are like at about 15 to 30,000 feet. So these storms are clearly moving from the west to the east. Some of the strongest portions of the storm between Beach Boulevard and Atlantic Boulevard on San Pablo. Again, that's working toward the east. We're going to work right up this line to find some of the heavier cells. Another pretty strong cell in the Wonderwood area. This will be working east as well. Again, within this whole region, heavy rain and lightning, focusing on where potentially we might have some stronger wind gusts. We're going to continue to work off to the northeast, Beacon Hills. That's a pretty intense cell as well. And here we have 295 Yellow Bluff, Danes Point Bridge. The strongest weather has passed that area and then headed off to the east. So let's expand because this whole line of storms now we just showed you continues to work to the east. So in the northern portions, here's some of the areas from Little Talbot to Mayport that either will be hit shortly or being hit most intensely now. Then we go from South Ponte Vedra Beach on down to areas of central St. Johns County. And now we're all the way down into St. Johns County and even eastern portions of Clay County. You folks as far to the south as St. Augustine and Spuds. In fact, St. Augustine, you just have a sea breeze right now, but because this storm has intensified, it's going to come your way as well. And that's just that one particular line. There's other storms developing, moving in different directions. We'll cover that for you, and we'll have the weekend weather in just a few moments.
Thanks, Tim. And be sure to stay with First Coast News for the latest weather information. And if you have a picture of storm damage in your area, please post it using the hashtag FCNStorm.
A chaotic and frightening scene from Daytona Beach after a roller coaster derailed, sending 9 people to the hospital. 2 people fell nearly 34 feet in this accident.
Yeah, investigators are back on the scene today trying to figure out just what happened that led to this horrifying incident and who should be held accountable. First Coast News reporter Bethany Anderson joins us live with the latest information from Daytona.
And I'm sure later on we will find out who is responsible for this happening. You know, workers along this strip tell me that this roller coaster here was shut down 3 weeks ago and that it reopened yesterday before it derailed. And that terrible accident happened. If you take a look, you can see 2 of those carts are still on the tracks, but that one dangling there, that red one, that is where people were clinging, trying to hang on. And we talked to a man who gave the workers here those straps so that it wouldn't go off any further. He and his son were actually supposed to get on the ride, but his son got scared, so they decided to let the group go in front of them. And that group that got in that cart, that went on that ride, is the one that was involved in the accident last night. So he was a good Samaritan. He came to his truck, got those straps, and helped workers out until first responders arrived. And he even called 911. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we have an interview from him. As for right now, where we stand, the rain is starting to come down, but inspectors are out here still looking at that roller coaster and still taking pictures of it. And we will have an update for you coming up here on First Coast News at 6 o'clock. Reporting live from Daytona Beach, Bethany Anderson, First Coast News, on your side.
Can you be more specific?
The roller coaster completely broke off. We need an ambulance.
That was one of at least 6 911 calls made last night as horrified spectators watched that derailment of the Sandblaster roller coaster in Daytona Beach. 2 riders, as we're saying, fell from the front car. They dropped more than 30 feet to the ground. Our team coverage continues tonight with On Your Side's Ann Schindler. She has been digging into the ride's maintenance history, and it's spotty, isn't it, Ann?
Well, that's right, Jeannie. The same roller coaster that sent 9 people to the hospital Thursday night failed a state inspection for a litany of problems, including excessive corrosion, cracked bracing, and damaged rail cars. Newly obtained reports show the Sandblaster roller coaster failed state inspection on May 17th due to 8 listed deficiencies. Those included 3 problems with the carts themselves and 3 structural deficiencies. That failed inspection was severe enough that the state halted operation of the ride until a follow-up inspection was completed. The follow-up inspection was done yesterday, and that report simply says the deficiencies were corrected. And the state lifted the stop operation order just a few hours before the accident. Now, we reached out to the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services for clarification about why the ride was reopened. That agency opened a 3rd inspection order yesterday following the accident. On your side, Ann Schindler, First Coast News.
All right, Ann, thank you. Governor Rick Scott was in Jacksonville today, and he weighed in on the roller coaster incident in Daytona Beach. Governor Scott was actually there for the ribbon cutting in 2013.
I hate to see these things happen. We've got to have accountability. We have to know what happened down there, and we've got to do a thorough investigation. Let's find out what happened, and then let's do what we should be doing, is holding people accountable.
We are the only local station to send a reporter to the scene overnight, and our crews provided updates on all of our social platforms. So download the First Coast News app to make sure you're always in the know.
An update tonight. Police found several suspicious items inside a Southside apartment unit this morning, prompting an evacuation. This happening after authorities responded to an apparent suicide at the Sola Lux Apartments. JSO got a call about 7 this morning about a possible suicide, and when officers arrived, they found 1 person deceased and several items of a suspicious nature. They haven't said what those items were just yet, and we'll continue to update you as we get more information.
A sexual battery suspect is off the streets tonight. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office arrested 30-year-old Shatik Jones today. No word on the crimes he committed. Jones is being held on a $500,000 bond. Reunited with her family, a Clay County woman who was missing for almost 20 hours is back home. Rachel Knowlton was reported missing yesterday afternoon, and this is exclusive video of her being brought out of the woods just moments after she was found. Officials say they're going to work with her family to prevent this from happening again. An update tonight about the drama surrounding the Jacksonville City Council. Governor Rick Scott spoke to First Coast News about the charges facing council members Katrina Brown and Reggie Brown, who've been indicted.
We shouldn't have issues like this, but we do. So if anybody wants to, is interested, they should call my office, and let them know that you're interested. But we're going to try to get the appointment done as quickly as we can. I want to make sure people are represented.
Reggie and Katrina Brown will be back in court next Thursday.
Well, it's an event that you'll see live on Good Morning Jacksonville tomorrow morning. I think the whole family could watch this, right?
It's something like out of the movies.
Yeah.
We are talking about the cooling tower implosion. A preview of the event and more about the history of those big towers next.